Now, Cap KVU local news at 6.
For someone like that to just shoot him senseless is it's not right.
A deadly shooting spree the relatives of the victims left behind. Now at 6, what we've learned about the people killed in a seemingly random shooting at a Yakima convenience store. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm Madeline Hagan.
And I'm Jason Valentine. The tragedy at the Circle K in Yakima has hit the community hard. It's because the victims themselves were doing something all of us have done dozens of times. People go into a convenience store to pick up something to eat or drink every day. What doesn't happen every day is a gunman opening fire on 3 strangers at a Circle K for seemingly no reason. Yakima Police Chief Matt Murray says they believe the shooting was completely random. He says that makes it tough on not just the families, but the community.
Just fear that it could be me at any time in any place. There's a lot of discussion already about defense. People aren't going to want to hear this, but there's not much these people could have done to protect or defend themselves. It was just so quick, and I think that's hard. I think it's hard for people to hear that because it increases their own fear.
People haven't been able to find any connection between the shooter and the victims. The motive at this time remains unknown. The victims who were killed at the Circle K convenience store yesterday morning have been identified. Authorities said 54-year-old Jeffrey Howlett had been shot multiple times while in his vehicle outside the gas station. Inside the store, 40-year-old Nikki Godfried and 65-year-old Roy Knob Jr. were shot and killed. Authorities say all 3 people did die at the scene.
So far, investigators have not said anything about a motive in this shooting, but we have learned more about 21-year-old Jared Haddock's criminal history. Some of this is revealed in a probable cause document. His mother told police Jared had been using methamphetamine for about 3 years and his drug use was worsening. Haddock's mother also shared her concerns about his mental state with police. Cap KVU has gained access to prior court records. In 2020, Jared was arrested for stealing a car, a Class B felony. Later, he was admitted to the felony diversion program, but documents state that he used drugs while in that program, which would terminate the agreement. But an additional document showed that motion was dismissed. Again, if there is one, we still don't know Haddock's motivation behind this crime. And there was an entire conversation that took place between the suspect and his mother before he died. Police have yet to reveal what they discussed. And in a world where we all want information as quickly as possible, it's easy for misinformation to pop up. We're talking about listening to scanners instead of confirming facts with officials. A lot of information gets disseminated over police scanners, especially during an active investigation like the shooting in Yakima. We could hear a lot of activity from investigators. We even saw that scanner chatter shared online as fact when it was not yet confirmed by police. But Cap KVU's Emily Goodell spoke with YPD Chief Matt Murray, who says just because it's said over the scanner does not mean it should be reported as fact.
It's frustrating to me that people will publicly say something and then there's no accountability when it turns out not to be true. We're held accountable, but a lot of people aren't, including people in the media. And I think that's caused a lot of distrust in the community for the media. The media has to look at themselves and say, is being first more important than being right?
Cap KVU, we go with confirmed information from law enforcement before releasing anything. Chief Murray says they try to get confirmed information out as quickly as possible to ward off misinformation, but he also calls upon consumers to be cognizant of where they're getting their information. And tonight we now know what led police to believe 21-year-old Jared Haddock as the suspect in this case. Investigators are relying heavily on surveillance video and witness accounts recalling this horrific crime on Tuesday morning. Court documents recount the moments officers responded to a very graphic scene. 68-year-old Jeffrey Howlett found shot dead inside his car. Nikki Godfrey and Roy Knob Jr. shot multiple times. Surveillance footage showing suspect Jared Haddock reloading his gun after shooting them. We've learned the store's employee was in the back of the Circle K, heard the gunshots, and called 911. Investigators say they have pulled multiple businesses' surveillance cameras, all showing Haddock at the Circle K. Then, just after 7 a.m., Haddock's mother called police, believing her son was responsible. She said he had texted her at 3 a.m., saying he locked his keys inside his car. Documents state Haddock could have access to a weapon that, quote, could kill a lot of people, end quote. Late Tuesday morning, authorities were still unsure of his whereabouts. Now around 2:15 in the afternoon is when a woman called 911 reporting Haddock was behind target. He asked to borrow her phone to call his mom. That's when officials say he confessed to his mother what he had done and said he was going to take his own life. Officers say by the time they arrived on scene, Haddock turned the gun on himself. He later died at a hospital. So still, Jason, a lot to unravel in this investigation.
Yes.
Of course, police are doing what they do best, and we'll continue to share what we know when it gets updated here
Yes.
and on yaktrinews.com.
And in just a bit, we're going to hear from one of the victims' families. And again, like we talked about earlier, there seems to be no connection. It seemed to be random, and
Very
that just
random.
adds to the confusion of
scary.
how can this happen.
Absolutely. We've all been there getting gas,
Yes.
getting snacks late at night, early in the morning.
Yeah.
Can't help but relate. Yes,
Just
very
awful.
scary.
Well, a weird transition, but let's talk about weather. Let's take a quick look outside. And folks, we are looking at more sunshine as we get into our evening hours, but not yet to the 6 o'clock show. And we still have that air stagnation advisory with us for at least the next day and a half. It should come to an end Friday as we see winds starting to pick up, but not tomorrow. But we do have a chance of seeing some shower activity tomorrow as we get into very late on Thursday evening. And we expect to be seeing quite a bit coming in as we get to Friday night and especially into Saturday morning, where we could see some snowfall in the Yakima Valley and see some rain-snow mix as we move into the Tri-Cities area. So a little bit of precipitation, and we're going to be seeing some heavy winds as well come in as we get into Sunday. So we have mostly clear skies overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that fog early in the morning. And we do expect to see warmer temperatures. And Maddie, we're going to be up to the lower 50s to upper 40s by Friday. But then by Monday, we won't even get to the freezing mark for our entire region. So we have quite a bit of interesting weather on the way. So rain tomorrow night, Friday night into Saturday morning, and then warmer temperatures Friday, and then those cool temperatures with wind starting on Sunday. 37 right now in the Yakima region, pretty much nominal winds out there at the moment. As we move over into the Tri-Cities, 35 degrees right now. So again, folks, we're going to be slowly warming up towards Friday, and then that big cool down is on the way. Another look at our Skycam network. We do expect to see much nicer conditions next week as we settle down in those cool temperatures, but plenty of sunshine. And as I said, Maddie, we are going to get a break from this moderate air quality, which we have in Yakima, Toppenish, and in the Tri-Cities. That will bring us relief on Friday, pretty much in the late afternoon as we start to see winds picking up. So we do have that coming on the way. But again, precipitation tomorrow late night, and as we head into Friday night into Saturday, it's the first time of seeing any snow here we did see a bit of snow last weekend, but a little bit more snow on the way. Well, moving on, a senseless murder, that's what many are calling it today, but for the family's victims, no word can describe the kind of loss they are facing. Forget about the politics and the suspect. The facts are 3 innocent lives have been taken.
For the family of Roy Knob Jr., this is something that hits the family with an unspeakable loss. They spoke to Cap KVU's Emily Goodell, whose son says he wants people to know the wonderful things about his father and the final words they shared.
Roy Knob Jr. was always with his family, going to barbecues, fishing, camping, and according to his son, Roy Knob III, he had a great sense of humor.
He'd try to dance, and he wasn't a good dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to do like the Cabbage Patch or whatever. It wasn't even close to what it was. It wasn't. Everything that came out of his mouth was a joke to make you laugh, and that's the way I am, and it'll be missed.
He was with his dad the night before he was murdered.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to come back in the morning like I usually do, because I worked right down the road. And I was like, all right, Dad, I love you. And he's like, I love you.
But when morning came, his dad wasn't home.
His routine is usually go get some coffee in the morning. And I was like, okay, he's at the store. But I seen all the police and that. Me, being me, I didn't mind. And I went straight through the tape and all that. And they were like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm looking for my dad, you know. He's like, well, what's your dad's name? And I gave him their name. And that's when he told me he had been shot and that he didn't make it.
Now he's holding tightly to his dad's last words.
I haven't been doing good in life, and I changed my life around a lot, a lot. And he just looked at me and he said, I'm proud of you, son. that's all I ever wanted from him to say, you know what I mean? As a father to a son, like, that's all you want your father to say to you ever in life is, I'm proud of you.
Roy's niece, Monique Ramos, says they're struggling with the unfairness of it all, that he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And it just makes us more cautious, more scared to go out into this world, you know, with, you know, there needs to be stricter gun laws. Anybody can just go get a gun and go inside a store and just start shooting at any age. 18, 19-year-olds are doing this to people. And it's just, it's ridiculous.
They're not focused on anger, but on healing, thinking about the victims, but also about the shooter and how they wish someone would have helped him.
Because obviously he was hurting, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to be hurting like that. Even if a friend came up to him and could have said, you know, something nice to him that day, or paid attention to him a little bit more, and to where he wasn't so down and out, if that's what he was, you know, depressed or whatever, like, it makes that much more of a difference, you know? There's not enough of that stuff in the world.
In Yakima, Emily Goodell, Cap KVUE, local news.
So heartbreaking, my goodness. My
Yeah.
heart hurts for that family
Yeah.
and all the families affected
All
by
three
this.
families. It's just, again, we'll have much more coverage on this as we move
Absolutely.
along in the week.